It's time to take a look back at the Central Coast Mariners 2025-26 A-League Women's campaign. Quite a fascinating season looking back at it, and ultimately a heartbreak in the end it was to just miss out on a spot in the top six there. Of course, Mariners were heading into this A-League Women's campaign as the defending champions. It was an absolute fairy tale run through that final series, winning our first ever A-League Women's Championship. And this time around, I think we had hopes of at least a finish in the top six. I think this campaign, we know that there was a lot of uncertainty surrounding the squad. Recruitment was announced very, very late on, just sort of, in the couple weeks leading up to the season kicking off. But Corey Babington, new head coach coming in, did a really good job to rally this new look squad together. And of course, we still had, a few of those players that we had from previous seasons, the likes of Izzy Gomez, Annabelle Martin, Annalise Rasmussen was still there heading into the campaign, and with some newer players coming in, I thought we had the ingredients to at least get a finals finish and to finish level on points there with Melbourne Victory and just behind them on goal difference. It is certainly a painful way to end the season, but there's lots of positives to take from this campaign, and hopefully we can re-establish ourselves as a top six side moving forward. And I think we are capable of doing that with some of the young talent that we have in the squad that are continuing to develop. So we're going to talk about the team and what it will look like moving forward, but of course break down the results that we've seen throughout this season, and would love to get your thoughts as well. So feel free to jump in the comments section. What did you make of our A-League Women's campaign this past season? How did you feel about it in the end? 7 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses, 27 scored, 26 conceded. A pretty even campaign all around. We had some really good form at times this campaign, and some disappointing results at times as well, and some real there's certainly some crucial events throughout the season that we will talk about that I think affected the outcome of the campaign in the end. It started in great form, a 3-0 win at home to Adelaide United. I'll recall that game, and we were fantastic in that game. I mean, the likes of Avani Prakash and Peter Trimis, those two players, for example, had great seasons. They were fantastic in this game and had awesome seasons overall. A couple disappointing defeats following that opening day win, losses away to City, Victory and Sydney before a big win in the F3 Derby and a win there against Wanderers. And we look at that 3-3 draw, though I did want to highlight that one on the 27th of December against Melbourne Victory. It was one of the most shocking results in the end after leading by a comfortable margin. Melbourne Victory coming back with the most dramatic comeback. I mean, out of all the football games I've watched in my years, out of all the Mariners games I've watched, that was one of the most shocking finishes to a game, just in regards to just the way. I guess you got to say we collapsed, and obviously the players and the coaching staff were aware of what happened in that game. The fact that we were looking so comfortable and playing so well, and in the end, the way it fizzled out, so disappointing. And the reason why it hurts so much more, and we look back at it now, at this point, now the season's concluded, just to flick back to the ladder there, Melbourne Victory, the team that we drew 3-3 with, were the teams that were just ahead of us in finals. Even if we just kept out that last equaliser from Melbourne Victory in that game on the 27th of December, Mariners would have been playing finals football. But because of that incredible late comeback from Melbourne Victory, it means in the end that they were the team finishing in 6th place. So it does hurt for the Central Coast Mariners, and that certainly was a key game in this season. There were a few games like that throughout the campaign where we just quite didn't have enough to get across the line in the end, which was disappointing. Wins against Brisbane Roar there as well, that loss against Adelaide United. And then looking into the second half of the campaign here in the new year, 2026, F3 Derby win away, 1-1 draw with Perth Glory, Western Sydney Wanderers defeating us at home, which was disappointing considering that Western Sydney Wanderers did struggle this campaign. 2-2 draw with a very competitive Brisbane Roar side. That 2-1 win against Wellington, that was a really big result. I remember watching that game. It was a windy, rainy day in Wellington, and a couple cracking goals from the Mariners in that match against Wellington Phoenix, who, as we know, went on to play in the A-League Women's Grand Final. Another win there against Wellington, this time at home. We also had a loss there against Melbourne City at home, scoreless draw with Perth Glory as well as with Canberra United and then Sydney FC. And there was those scoreless draws that maybe hurt us in the end. In all those games, we did look, we did have some good chance, especially late on in those matches. We had some good chances to win those games, but in those crucial matches, we were just unable to step up and find that winning goal, that big moment, and to take that opportunity. And I think a big thing that we have to acknowledge, and it's quite obvious, is the departure of Annalise Rasmussen and how that affected our campaign. She was unbelievable. She's scoring 11 goals, I think it was, throughout the A-League women's season, and she departed halfway through the campaign. She was fantastic and was the focal point to our attack, and it's so great just seeing her development over the years now, and coming through the academy, and now over in Italy with Juventus. She's such an exciting player, and I'm sure has a great future ahead, possibly as a Matilda in the near future, I expect. But as you can see here, maybe we were lacking someone like Annalise Rasmussen with her finishing ability and her speed, her runs in the box, when we're just maybe lacking a player like that. In some of these crucial games, you can see 3 of our last 4 games there, scoreless draws. And look, nothing against the quality of the players that we did have for the remainder of the season. We certainly had goal threat. Izzy Gomez, Peter Trimmis, Avani Prakash, even Tamar Levin. These players were capable of finding the back of the net. But ultimately, it just felt like we didn't quite have the same threat going forward after the departure of Annalise Rasmussen. And of course, we're not going to hold her back from departing and chasing her dreams overseas. As I said, it's really exciting seeing Annalise go overseas and knowing that she came through at the Mariners and now playing at a big club over in Europe. But I think it's fair to say if Rasmussen had have stayed at the Mariners, we probably would be playing finals football. I reckon we comfortably would be playing finals football. We probably would have grabbed some more wins, just considering how good her form was. She really was one of the standout, if not the standout player in the whole competition for the first few months. She was unstoppable. She was unplayable at times, regularly finding the back of the net. And we're just thinking of what could have been. What could have been if Annalise had stayed around for another few months to finish off the campaign. But it's all said and done now, and we wish Annalise all the best overseas. So great to see her doing well over at Juventus. And ultimately, it does, again, it stings. It hurts. Making this video, looking back at that ladder, man, it's how close it was to playing finals football, and considering that we were champions last season. The defense that we put up in the end. Look, it was admirable. We performed well in a lot of games this season, but ultimately not enough to see us through to another top 6 finish. So, very curious to see how our side shapes up for next season, what the team looks like. As we know, in the A-League Women's competition, we do often see a lot of turnover in the playing squad. Izzy Gomez, does she head overseas? The likes of Avani Prakash, Peter Trimmis, Tiana Fuller. I did want to mention Tiana Fuller because she was a player who I thought this season would have gotten a whole lot more game time. For whatever reason, she just wasn't starting that many games this campaign. Corey Babington opting for other options at times this season, which personally I thought was a bit disappointing. I think she's a player with immense potential, still very young, Tiana Fuller, but we saw the season before last the impact that she was having in games, scoring some wonderful goals. So, look, hopefully we can retain these young players and continue to build the side around them because they are the future, man. And really excited to see what happens going forward. And maybe we do need just a few more experienced players. Maybe we can look overseas to bring some players in. Obviously, again, we'll see what happens with the ownership situation surrounding Central Coast Mariners at the time of this recording. Nothing officially announced yet in regards to what's happening with the ownership situation at Mariners, but hopefully it does get sorted out. Hopefully we can put a lot of funding into the women's team and establish ourselves. There's no reason why we can't establish ourselves as one of the top teams in the A-League women's competition. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the like button on the way out. My name's Lockie. See you in the next one.